How you guys doing? Today we're going to be talking about Fate War, the latest game in the city building genre that a lot of guys know of from Rebirth of Glory back in the alpha and beta days. And this game is made by IGG, guys that made the Lords mobile gameplay. And today I'm just going to honestly give you my full honest review and show off parts of the game to kind of emphasize those points too. So smash like, comment, and subscribe, and let's just dive into the crux of it, where is Fate War going to be something worth playing? And I think for a lot of players it might be, but then for the largest veterans, I'd say, who've played other games like myself in other, categories, I don't know if it's going to grab your attention. And that is just because when you start to look at this game, it takes a lot of inspiration, as I'm going to say nicely, and from other games, and puts it all into one game. And I'm going to kind of emphasize that through easily the heroes, right? So the heroes look pretty cool. I'm going to be honest. I actually like the design of the heroes. They're obviously Disney-esque, if you want to say, but they still have some sort of like mature look to them. They're not these little kiddified looking characters, so at least it's not too bad. And there is obviously a ton of heroes in the game, and even some that you can earn for free, which is kind of cool. But if you've not noticed on the right side in the glaring light, as many of you guys are already probably writing out your comments, it is very Rise of Kingdoms or Call of Dragons-esque, because it is following that formula, same as like Age of Titans as well, just to give another shout out to another game that does this. You have the star ratings on your hero, right? And these star ratings, if you've never played these type of games before, these unlock your skills. So you can see you can unlock skill and then unlock the lieutenant, which means you can have 2 commanders in one march, and then you'll get your 4th skill, and then 5 and 6 will extra talent points for the talent tree, which we'll showcase in a second. But in order to obviously do that, you can level up your heroes. In Rise of Kingdoms and in Call of Dragons, I know at the start of the game, and I know Rise of Kingdoms has improved since then, but you normally get punished for upgrading your stars for your heroes. But on this game, you'll notice, actually, it's the opposite. You're actually able to fully unlock all stars on any of the heroes, and then actually upgrade whatever skills you want to upgrade. And that is actually quite cool, because obviously it gives players a lot of flexibility on builds, especially if you're a lower spender and a free to play, just trying to get the maximum out of them. You can also reset skills. This is actually something that is not new. You can do this in Age of Empires Mobile. You can do this in Call of Dragons, Rise of Kingdoms, and I think even probably in Lords Mobile, even though I'm not super in-depth in that game. But you're able to do this too, which isn't too bad. Obviously, it's 2,000 gems to do this. Hopefully, maybe in the game, you might be able to earn some of these later down the road. But for 2,000 gems, it's not probably too bad, just in case you might have messed up in the early game. But you shouldn't really mess up, because the thing is, there is a good little guide section, and this is kind of like the positive area that I will say the game does a decent job on. It showcases, as you can see, all the different heroes on the left side. You can see the recommended skills right here. So I've got obviously mine that's going recommended skill upgrade priority 1, 3, 2, and 4 there. And then it even gives you these kind of talent trees, and as you can notice, again following a very similar game's talent tree system, where it runs 3 different branches from 3 of the different subclasses that each of the heroes have, and each one of them have their own little tech trees to them. So you can see there's the skill one, the berserker, which is typically the class base, and then the hunter is what they're kind of good at. So you can see hunter here is killing Blackforge, which is the tribes or the barbarians, you name it, you've played it. It's the PvE content on the game, but you do get the skill tree, and you do get the berserker tree, which is one of the units in game. You can obviously go into the kind of area here, and again, these are all the different marches that give you some idea on how to get them, and where and what you should be doing with them. It's okay, it's all right. So that is technically the first kind of alarming, I think, bell. And I know a lot of you guys might be concerned straight away with looking in it, and I know a lot of people are criticizing already just this one section for no real originality, and I can kind of understand where they're coming from, because then you get into like the game, and the biggest issue I had in this game is the fact that in order to get into these chapters, and as you know, completing a chapter from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way onwards is going to unlock more and more content. But the amount of time it took you to actually get through to basically the real game, which is allowing you to actually explore the world of Fate War, which is obviously a city building war game with territory. It also has ranged combat, which I will showcase a little bit later on. And yeah, that was one of my biggest actual hates, I'll be honest. You can check it out on the live stream. It took me a long ass time just to get into the actual gameplay. So it makes this experience, especially for the newer players, feel like you're playing this massive, huge city that's living and it's building and it's doing all these different things. And yeah, and don't get me wrong, it is cool and some people might like that, but I'm gonna be honest, for me, my personal opinion, it just feels a little bit too big. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty big if you're looking at all these different buildings and you need to find stuff. And then that doesn't even include that you've got this outer world now with some extra bits that are cracking out, and even important buildings like this one here, for example, that lets you hire free troops pretty much on the daily, which is quite nice, right? You get a daily hiring limit there, which is fine. It's cool for free-to-play players and that. So yeah, it's just one of them where I don't know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Are you not a big fan of super big cities? Because obviously you played stuff like maybe like Lords Mobile, you maybe play Call of Dragons, Rise of Kingdoms, even Age of Empires Mobile. Their city isn't this big. It's a lot more condensed compared to how large this one actually is, right? So you do kind of get lost at what you're trying to find in some, at some times, until you kind of learn these different areas, right? Now, let's just kind of show off the big question that you guys probably have. What tier of troops and what type of troops are in the game? Because I did mention there is ranged troops, and if you go into any of the training barracks, you'll notice there is the RoK, paper, scissors kind of combo here. So you got the RoK as the berserker, which is the infantry based unit. Then you got the paper here, which is the good old cavalry. Scissors being the kind of other way around, right? Anyway, you get what I'm saying. It's the RoK, paper, scissors format. It's easy. 3 different units, but the axe throwers are completely ranged. With this, you got the 4th unit, which is the beast riders, which you can kind of see here. They're just kind of okay. As you can imagine, they're going to be neutral to all different units. And when it comes into the tech trees now of what tier of units, when I was doing my live stream, many of you guys guessed that this game might go all the way up to tier 10 troops. And honestly, I was kind of shocked, because when you go into it, it actually isn't tier 10 at all. It's not even tier 9. It's not even tier 7 or 8. It's actually tier 6. So they've gone one tier above, which most people would consider the Rise of Kingdoms Call of Dragons formula of tier 5. And this is going obviously all the way up to tier 6 here. You've got the economic tree, which everyone kind of should know by now. This is just everything you imagine. And then there's this tribal showdown. And this is a specific alliance-based event that's cross-server based, and you can go down in this tree basically and earn some extra rewards for that. But you've got to realize this is also a load of PvP-based stuff, which is quite scary, because then you got to think, how pay to win is this game if there's an actual dedicated tree for this? And you got to imagine all the free-to-play players and stuff, and most likely gonna be chugging out this for the longest of times first before they even consider trying to go down this tree and be competitive as maybe a player in tribal showdowns, which is kind of, again, I'm gonna be honest, it put me off when I was looking at this, when I was doing the live streams. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, and if you've been playing Fate War, how have you actually enjoyed the actual full experience so far of the gameplay, right? So if we kind of jump into the outer world now, I will showcase some of that ranged gameplay on Showcase, but they do have a good job of making kind of the world feel like something that's living, if you want to say. Good example is they have taken one of the different game modes, I think from Whiteout Survival or King Shot, and it is in multiple different city builders too, but it's this transport system that showcases all these different kind of like wagons at different rarities that you can even send out here at the bottom, and you can see if someone plundered them or not, with if they were smoking or not, and then you can see the rewards that you get for doing so. But you're able, as I said, to plunder, so you can kind of go to these players here, you can see how much might they've got, go to their actual thing on the map, and it's just moving past players here, and you can just kind of start this plunder fight. And the way it works is very similar to any of the fights in Arena of Legends, which you should recognize if I just kind of set one going for you guys. Who cares who it is, right? But if we fight one, you should recognize this. Looks definitely like any of these game modes you've played where you press start, it's just going to auto battle the fight. Whoever's got the strongest troops or the best formation out there is gonna win, right? You can put it on 2x speed, but it does showcase here what the gameplay is like, and you can see how they've got axe throwers here at the back, and that's the ranged combat. So you can see how Kelfast, one of the ranged units, was able to absolutely destroy me, right, with the ranged, while their front line was, I'll say, tanking the damage. So really good showcase actually there right then of ranged units in game, and you can obviously do this yourself if you want to just verify. You can actually summon units here by hitting the like moves. If you click on anywhere, it will show you this little square, but if you hit move and then batch assemble, and let's just get one of our marchers out, and this should be again very familiar to a lot of you guys who are typing in the comments. This looks very similar to another game that we know, and I agree with you hands down. But if we go into it, here we go, press move, we've got our units, and we're in, if you are wondering, the minimalist mode. So if you guys really want to just see things, as you can kind of see right now, these are my units, this is a tile, and if I put it in simplify mode, that's going to show off those areas. And if I actually click off simplified mode, you get the full terrain now, all the trees and kind of the actual living area of the environment. So again, you can actually kind of choose what you want to do with that. So here we can do the same thing, kind of like Age of Empires Mobile or any other game. You can focus fire, which will send both of those units to attack this one, and this is going to obviously start to fight. But at the same time, if I just grabbed like this infantry unit, you'll notice I can actually fully move, right? I can actually decide, okay, I want to move here, then here, here. It's fully open field combat, as you guys will know from Rise of Kingdoms, Call of Dragons, Age of Empires Mobile. The way this game works, if you kind of saw the hero screen and the formula earlier in action, you're going to be generating rage, which is this little meter on the left side that's going up, and as you generate rage, you're going to be casting your main skill here. So this is what does all the damage. It's kind of the bread and butter of your heroes, and then there's all the passive skills in that, right? So you kind of see already where we're going. The game, I'm going to be honest with you guys, when you look through a lot of the systems, and I mean a lot of these different systems in game, all of the different little mini things that you can be doing in there, even when you check out some of these different events up at the top again, you realize it's just taking a lot of these ideas from all of the games that we've played in the past and slamming them together under the IGG name. Is it gonna be any better than the others? I don't know, because I'm going to be making a full follow-up video on this about how pay to win the game is, but to kind of showcase the kind of bread and butter of the pay to win store, you have what I would consider the standard mall, which are in all of these kind of big games like Rise of Kingdoms, Age of Empires Mobile, Lords, Anywhere, right? Where you got this mall with like a top-up bonus with these heroes that you're able to get if you spend a little bit of money. You've got these passes in the game they can go through, and when you're spending, you can unlock extra rewards for your account. There's the boosters, which you can claim every day for free, like everyone should know, which is going to give you some gems, which is kind of nice. But at the same time, for the spenders, you're going to be able to get those heroes, and as you can imagine, more heroes will get added in. You got these kind of little bundles that will get added in from time to time, and you can imagine this is only one. There's going to be a variety of these coming in, which are all the miracle ones. This just gives you a ton of summons in the game. You got the daily essentials, and this is kind of where you see the real greed of the game, because you got the daily essentials, which is these 4 bundles to do with heroes, training, research, and development. But if you go down to the regular value bundles, which are just 2 below it, it's the exact same. It's the exact same with an additional one, which is the resource drop. And you'll realize they've purposely made these just better for the same price. And this is just to make people feel like, oh, I'm going to need to get these ones over here. So you can kind of see already how pay to win this game is going to be. And that's not even going to be talking about the crux of kind of what you might have realized if you've been paying attention to some of the gameplay of my account, the VIP system. If you guys are wondering, if you've not noticed, I am completely free to play on this live stream account that I tried the game out, and I was able to hit VIP 7, which does grant me, as you see every single day, an epic sculpture, as well as 9,000 7 times bundles, because this is what you need to do research in this game, which is kind of crazy, I know, but hey ho, it is what it is. And then taxes for different parts of upgrades in your bases. But you'll realize it follows the Whiteout Survival and Rise of Kingdoms formula, where you've got the Rise of Kingdoms VIP, which is very familiar to most players that play these games. It's even in like Age of Empires Mobile, and it's in many games, right? And it maxes out at VIP 12 at the moment, right? But there's the timer, and this timer thing is in a lot of these different games. It's not in Age of Empires Mobile. I don't believe it's in Call of Dragons or Rise of Kingdoms. It could be in other games, but again, a lot of people, I'm going to be honest, I don't like the fact that you have to pay gems to have your VIP that you might have invested into, because that means all of these buffs that you've got, all these benefits are going to turn off. And that's kind of a bit annoying, right? Especially for someone as a free-to-play player that's investing into here, because you're trying to get to VIP 9 if you are free-to-play, just to give yourself this reward on its own. And I think it's going to take you about 120,000 gems in order to do that. It is pretty cheap if you think about it, how many gems you're able to get, because there is these kind of events, as you've noticed in the mall, which is like the Chieftain Hall funds for the spender that gets a ton of gems. But even for the free-to-players, as you'll notice, you are going to get some gems on that journey, which could be tailored specifically for that VIP push, right? So it is one of those things where the game is definitely pay to win. How pay to win the game is, check out my latest video that I'm going to be posting following up on this one about it. But my honest review and summary of it all, if you guys have been obviously keeping up and checking it out so far, is, gonna be honest, the game could be good. I'll be honest, it could be good. It could have some really cool gameplay, and it could fulfill a lot of needs for players that have been playing stuff like Rise of Kingdoms and Call of Dragons and Age of Empires Mobile, that have been looking for something new, something maybe fresh that they're very familiar with a different company, right? And I think the people that play stuff like Lords Mobile and even like Infinity Kingdoms and all of those type of games will probably look at this from IGG and go, guys, why didn't you put this amount of effort into our game? And I kind of understand that, right? And it is what it is, right? However, when we kind of think about Fate War as a game, let's be real, right? It is doing some good things in the areas that it's stolen, right? And a lot of people are raising eyebrows on like is this allowed, like, for a game to do? I don't know. But the crux of it all is I think Fate War could be successful. It's definitely going to be pay to win, if you guys haven't guessed. But I'll be going deep diving into that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be one of these games that I actually am going to try. I think a lot of people were hyping this up as or when it were Rebirth of Glory, and now it's gone global launch a few days ago of this recording. I think it's not hit the expectations as much now, just because of the way they've actually come across this, you know, pay structure. And don't get me wrong, to kind of finish up on like a high point on this video, and I don't want to just hate on the game without playing it for more than like 7 days or a month, because anyone will tell you when you play these kingdom builder games, it's not about the city inside, it's about this experience outside where you're kind of fighting on this territory, as you can see on these passes, to be able to go and fight against other enemies in different zones and push into these different areas of the map. And I'll be honest, the map does look pretty nice. Obviously it's bright and colorful, and they've gone down that scheme, fair play to them, but it is one of them things where, you know, it has a clear layout and people enjoy this type of format in this game. And there is some obviously other good points which I can't say again without fully diving in, but there's some cool like events like this growth path here where you're able to actually, you know, earn a blue hero in game and actually level them up all the way to a legendary hero, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. It's all about just doing these kind of events, and as you're doing it, you're gonna get a ton of resources and bits that you need for your account too, and obviously it hits the dopamine hits. But what's really important is, as you'll notice, you evolve him from this blue into an epic hero, which for free-to-play players, I think is actually a positive. I think that is actually a pretty cool positive experience. But then obviously then you got the surprise egg, and this one does evolve into a legendary based hero, and you can check out like these different events in the game if you're able to, you know, unlock them. You can see we've got at the moment Sigrid here if you want, and as you're doing this, you're going to get the Egg Bunny Shards, which is a full city skin. And don't even get me into the city skins, that's going to be in my next video, but you'll notice Boulder there, the blue hero, will turn into this legendary hero, and you'll get basically event progress for doing so again. So again, you'll notice there's some good bits in this game, and at the same time it's got some alarm bells, and I think that is the actual summary of Fate War, where I think it could be an actual amazing, you know, amazing game for the genre, and people might enjoy the game. But it already has major alarm bells on the pay to win side, and I don't think people are going to honestly address it as honestly I have in this video. And if you've liked this review and just kind of the showcase of what the game looks like, kind of, let me know in the comment section down below. You can check out my full 5-hour live stream where you actually see full gameplay, the full first reactions going through, and you even see me honestly saying stuff like, I enjoy the way the heroes look, like I have in this video, right? And you'll see me criticize in certain areas and kind of raise the eyebrows in other areas, right? So let me know, do you think I should play Fate War, or should we give this one a miss, guys? It's one of those ones. So till the next video, smash that like, comment, and subscribe. Till then, stay safe, stay sneaky. Peace out.